All right, we are live and we are being recorded, and I am going to send this message out. Whoops, don't hide there. I'm not sure if I did that one right. But we're live on a number of different channels, and we are celebrating the launch of Unbreakable Spirit. And we are
Yeah.
number one international best-selling authors, and we are so excited to share the stories within this book. My name is Becky Norwood. I am with Spotlight Publishing House, and I work with authors all over the world, actually, to bring their messages, their stories to the world in the most powerful of ways. And it has been such a joy to get to meet and to know these beautiful ladies, but their stories. Wow. Amazing, amazing stories. So I want to start the conversation. Our Suzanne needs to leave fairly, pretty early in this, so where we're going to do it a little bit different than we normally do, because we want to honor her time commitment. And thank you for being with us for this wonderful interview. So there's a quote in the book, an endorsement by Karen Kinney, who is an award-winning author of Doorways to Transformation. And her comments were, the world needs feminine wisdom now more than ever before. And in this timely book of women's stories of resilience, you'll find renewed hope, strength, and wisdom to guide you through the twists and turns of life challenges. May we all remember our own power and ability to rise together no matter the storms. And I don't believe that there are any one of us that can get through. No, I don't think any human can do this, get through life without something that just throws them a big curveball. And it's learning what to do about it, and learning to just be with it and to grow from it. And that is what the beauty of this is. So um, there's something that you had to grow from, um, Suzanne, and I would like you first of all to introduce yourself, and then we'll have a conversation about your chapter. And before we do that, we also have Shauntay. Raise your hand, Shauntay Williams and Mara Schachter.
Schachter, you nailed it.
I did it. All right. So enjoy this conversation, and then we'll take it up in a little bit different way after Suzanne has to say goodbye to us. So, Suzanne, what is the story that you share? Your chapter number is chapter two. And
Two.
chapter two is
Yes. Two.
and define cancer with faith and business. How I survived cancer. I mean, chemotherapy without losing my hair. Well, that is
Yes.
a
That's
big
it here.
story. Beautiful. So,
Yeah.
tell us about what made you decide to be a contributing author in this beautiful book.
Thank you very much, Becky, and thank you for my colleague, co-authors for being here. I am so pleased and privileged and honored. And to tell you the truth, if you had told me like a year ago that I would be participating in that kind of online interview, I would be like, oh, is this a dream or something? So, yes, so just to say how grateful I am to be here. For those who do not know me, my name is Suzanne and Mouelle, and I have really enjoyed writing my chapter and taking part of this project. And one thing that I loved about this project is, first of all, the title of the book, Unbreakable Spirit. So I like the fact that, I've been broken in my life so many times, but every time I was able to recover from it, overcome the challenges, and this thanks to two key foundations in my life, which are the faith that I have in God and also the business, which is my passion. And my business is about helping people launch their business and launch their brand successfully. So by doing that, I believe that they contribute to leave an impact in other people's life, and that makes their life and their own experience on this earth very meaningful. And what has actually kept me driving and continue to run my race is the idea, especially in that challenge of cancer, where you are afraid that you're going to die. You know, that's the first feeling you have when you get the news that, oh, am I going to overcome this or am I going to die? You know, so when you have all these thoughts and the fears coming to flood your mind, what do you do? And one of the things that I've used to overcome that fear is faith, as I was saying early, and my passion, and mostly the purpose, leaving a legacy. Because if at all I had to die, at least I would leave something behind that people can, know about me, connect with me, and also use for their own life and success. So that's why now I already have a legacy, which is already captured in this book, which I'm really grateful for to Miss Laura for. And and I'm really happy that I was able to do that. So I trust in that long answer, I was able to answer the different aspects of your question.
That is really beautiful that you were able to pull it all together like that. There's a quote in your chapter that really touched me. It says, "You can overcome cancer in any life-threatening situation by having the right mindset and strong faith. With
Mhm.
your real passion and your skills, you can develop a legacy business or a purpose-driven activity that will generate income and help you to thrive in life." So that's kind of the
Yeah.
synopsis of what you just said and what is so
Yes.
beautiful. So, what was your thought when you were approached, when you heard about this opportunity to be in this book? What made you say yes?
First, I had never really dreamed that I would be able to write a book or even a chapter. So for me, it was a challenge to say, okay, let's see if I'm able to do that. So that I like challenges, and that one challenge, I wanted to take it. That's why the first thing I did was say, yes, I'm in. So, and the other thing also is to learn from the other authors, because each one of us has their own, experience and route to victory and success. And by sharing my story with them, I'm sharing the light that I have within with them, and I'm also receiving their lights in to me. So we are helping and supporting each other, and all together, we're bringing some light in certain aspects of our readers' lives. So depending on their thinking pattern is, their mindset, or their faith journey, everyone has a way to connect to a story in this book. And I like the variety and the diversity of the authors and the stories also. So that's what actually convinced me to say yes. And it's always good as women to support each other, to collaborate. I'm very much into even women as customers in my business, because I think we have that inner power that is underestimated, and that we all need to get out, let shine out there. So that's one of the reasons why I was really thrilled to take part on this in this project.
Beautifully said. So, as
Yeah.
you, um, what is one thing that happened in this process of writing your chapter,
Mhm.
of knowing now it's launched into the world, it's not quietly sitting just inside you, or just
Yes.
in a lonely book that has no viewers?
Mhm.
What would be the biggest impact having this opportunity has brought you?
Um, First of all, it changed me in the sense that I was able to overcome my fear of failure, my fear of writing, and I gained confidence doing that, because I knew I was supported. I was supported by my colleagues, my co-writers, colleagues, through peer reviews, and I was also supported by Miss Laura, who's the coach, the writing coach, and I also was supported with your entire team, including the editors. So I felt like someone has got my back, so I cannot fail in this thing. I must just do it and do it, and I'm supported to do it the right way, and I really enjoyed that. And in terms of impact, it has impacted my personal view of my journey, because I could see now that my story was meaningful. My story can help someone. Have had people calling to me asking me, "Oh, I've heard about your story about overcoming cancer and without losing your hair. I know my cousin or some person who's going through chemotherapy right now. Do you have a word for them?" So I was like, "Oh, so my story is really, useful to someone." And I was able to give counsel and advice, but I'm not a doctor. So if anyone wants to know my secret to not losing my hair, they will find it in the book. I
Awesome.
don't want to release all of it now.
Well, we want to thank you so much for being here and we want to honor your time today, but thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
in this
Thank
book.
you.
And thank you for the way you lead in our world as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I will stay for a little while to listen to my other colleagues. And when it's time for me to leave, I will just excuse myself and say bye.
Right. Beautiful. Well,
Thank you.
so as we step into the rest of this interview, I feel so blessed to be able to because I do take the time to read each chapter and really get kind of solid with what the messages are. And I have worked with many many authors over the years, and I think I have to say that the stories that share one common thread, because the biggest thing that I encourage authors to do when they come to me with their manuscript, I say, is there a story? Where's the story? Because storytelling is what reaches the heart. And learning how to tell your own story in a way that is vulnerable, authentic, and still holds high honor is very, very important. So as we go into this conversation, I would first like for you, Shauntay, to introduce yourself, tell what you do in the world, what the name of your chapter is, and then we'll introduce Mara as well.
Sure. Hi, and thank you, Becky, for having this platform for us and for all that you did to get our book out there. Really appreciate you and all of your work. So, my name is Shauntay Williams, and my chapter is chapter 5, A Little Grace on Life's Playground. And basically, it was a story that's been living inside of me since I was very, very little, based on an incident that happened. But also, my life has been about playing. I've been an improv actor for over 25 years using my acting skills as a teaching tool. And I know how important um, being able to play in order to learn, how powerful it is, and how when we're playing, we learn easily and joyfully, kind of like kids. Kids learn as they play, and we sometimes forget that as we get older.
Mhm.
So that was one of the things about the chapter, but it was also for me remembering that there's this little person in me that had experiences. And sometimes those experiences don't get addressed. And it's like you were saying earlier, like we all come and have to go through things in life. I think those experiences can be extremely traumatic,
It can be.
or they can be something so small that as a child we interpret it in a way that holds us back. So either way, for me to be able to address those things so that I can see, oh, this is how they impacted my life moving forward, so that I can address them, so that I can be with that person, that little person that had these experiences, and let her know that it's safe for her to come out, to play, to enjoy life, to not be so afraid or so closed off because of something that happened to her when she was so vulnerable.
Mm, yes, and often of the things that happen to us in our childhood is what colors our world for a long time in the future if we don't know the steps to take to help to hit the healing begin. And that's part of what comes with the wisdom of life and what life brings us, because sometimes, especially if you've grown up with things in your childhood that have been truly harmful, when it circles back around, as we come into adulthood, we know that there has to be something better. We know all kinds of things, but we don't often know just how to access that. And this is something that you chose to do. You chose to access something better. You
Yes.
know, and I find that it's so much easier once we understand that we can get that support, we can get the help, and we can allow ourselves to grow and overcome. Um, that's the message to me. That's the message that is here for everyone, because our entire world goes through a lot of different things. And sometimes when you're going through it, you feel completely alone. It's
Yes.
these kind of stories that show we're not alone. And
Right.
that, I think that's the biggest benefit to all of this. And it could be the very thing that saves a person's life, by reading somebody's words and knowing that somebody else went through this.
Absolutely. Or to not, I know for me, I downplayed what happened to me. And in doing so, I wasn't able to heal it. It's, oh, at least that didn't happen, or at least it could have been worse. It could have been this, it could have been that. But in doing that, what we do is we stop our process for being able to heal, by minimizing the things that happened. And it could be something so small as I came home excited and my dad yelled at me. I interpreted in a certain kind of way
Mhm.
and it impacted me, but I wasn't abused, right? But
Right.
still, that one little moment in time could have triggered something that then impacted every decision you make from here on, right? From there on.
Absolutely.
So don't minimize anything that has impacted us. Address it for what it caused and heal it. Yeah.
Beautiful. So how has taking the time, the training, the education part that this book has brought to you, how has that impacted who you are today?
Hmm. I think the biggest thing is being visible. The biggest thing is having the courage to put a story out there for all the world to see, including people in my family that didn't know about the story, right? And that takes a lot of courage to be seen, to be
Mm,
really, really, really seen. And it also forced me to move forward in a lot of other things. I created a mini course on play as a result of writing this short story. The short story had always been there, and I had written it. It's actually a whole lot longer than what ended up in the chapter. But to be able to have buddy reads with people like Mara and have people give me feedback on it, uh, it really cracked me open, because I don't think I ever gave anyone my writing in this way, like strangers, and waited for their input and received their input. I was surprised. I liked it. I liked being seen, and also people saying, oh, this is missing. Oh, can you try to think about this or think about that? And even working with Hyla, the editor, was a fascinating experience for me. I
right.
learned how to work with an editor. And so now I'm ready to see what's next. I'm ready to take my manuscript that I've been working on for a couple of years and move forward with it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So happy to hear that. So your chapter was A Little Grace on Life's Playground. And I love that title, because life could be a playground. It's all in the way we choose to think and feel,
Mhm.
and really even our own self-talk. Those are the things that can um, really affect, because it's more than the outside world, the things that we get bombarded with um,
Mhm.
on a daily basis. But the other part of that is that we can choose the way we think. And
Yeah.
that's so important. In your chapter, there was a quote that I wanted to share. Is there a little one inside of you, frightened, stuck, sitting on the sidelines, secretly wanting to play all the games? whisper to that little one, get up, I got your back. You can play again and so much more because I love you and I will take care of your precious heart. Wow. Beautiful and powerful.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. I want to move over for the moment with Tamara. And Mara, you've been able to listen to both Shauntay and Suzanne share their thoughts on and why they wrote their chapter and what transpired from that. So tell us what just listening to them how that's made you feel.
Well, this group of women is absolutely amazing. And through the process of writing our chapters as a collective, so our personal journeys, but also we journeyed collectively. I've learned so much through osmosis, been so inspired by the courage, the strength, the bravery. And I think Shauntay said it so beautifully just now that it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable.
It does.
And there's more power in vulnerability than maybe anything else. And there's so much power in our open hearts. And then when we do it together as a group of women with a shared mission to share our stories and allow ourselves to be seen. I mean, what Shauntay said is so parallel to so much of my journey too, which is, staying small and dimming my light and wanting to stay safe through that.
Mm-hmm.
And the act of not just myself to be vulnerable in sharing parts of my story, my spiritual journey that I've never shared with anyone before, but doing it together,
Right.
Was really supportive and empowering.
Well, there's a certain strength that is drawn from each other when you're able to do that. And so your chapter is Learning to Live Through the Eyes of My Soul. Tell us about the development of your story and what kind of an impact that made for you to be able to share your words.
It was a huge impact. It was such a blessing to be able to look back on parts of my personal self-healing journey, my spiritual journey, and learning to live through the eyes of my soul. Writing the chapter was an exercise in that, in and of itself, because what does it really mean to live through the eyes of our soul? Well, to me, our soul is nothing but light and vibration. It's the part of us that's connected to divinity and that's connected in unity to each other. And there's no other truer teacher to us in our own lives than our own soul.
Uh-huh.
So the writing of this brought newfound insights and lessons about those archetypal patterns that my life has brought up, and to learn to see them and understand their lessons in a new way was very cathartic and healing.
Well, the beautiful part about it is the world needs us. Women, I think, by nature, have always been strong, very strong. They're typically the main ones that raise the family. A man also does that. There's a strength in womanhood that our world absolutely needs right now. And the more of us that do this, more of us that learn about ourselves and stand up and share with the world, the greater the impact and the difference and all the difference it will make in our world, because we're touching lives in so many ways.
I couldn't agree more. The power of a woman's open heart. And it really is the time for the women's kingdom to rise on the planet today. And as we do it both personally and in unity together, we raise everyone.
Absolutely. Yep. It's beautiful. So your quote was, the light that is our soul is the flashlight that illuminates our path forward. guiding us to embrace our darkness, our fear, our shame, our anger. And when we do, we liberate our light. We become free. A life of miracles is possible when we live through the eyes of the soul. Wow. Powerful reading. And I think that that quote should be kind of something that's out there in the world, just right there, out there with other eyes, really looking at it, getting it, what is truly being said. So I want to congratulate all of you, beautiful women, and standing forth and bringing your messages to the world, but standing in your own light, not putting it under a bushel basket, so to speak, but letting it shine. And so as we conclude this interview, this time went really, really fast. As we conclude our interview today, just a short recap for each one of you, and I'll start with you, Suzanne. What do you hope that somebody that picks up this amazing, beautiful book, Unbreakable Spirit, 18 Stories of Feminine Resilience, Blessings, and Renewal, if somebody picks it up and reads your chapter, what would you hope that they gained from it?
Yes, I would like every person who reads my chapter to find courage, to find purpose, to find faith, because I believe personally that we are not on earth by chance. Everyone has a mission. And once you, through your faith journey, in my case is with God, you find the purpose of your life. It all, goes, everything ties in together and it gives meaning. So whatever you have to face, you look at it as a giant and you are the David. I'm just using that scripture from the Bible, which can defy any type of giant. In my case, I defied cancer, and that's the title of my chapter, Defying Cancer with Faith and Business. No matter what your weapons are, if you have these three things, that you have a strong mindset, that you have faith, that you have a purpose of leaving a legacy, you can thrive. You can bounce back, reinvent yourself, and live again powerfully and successfully. That's what I would like people to retain from my chapter. Thank you.
Thank you. How about for you, Mara?
Will you repeat the question?
No,
I was so enthralled with what Suzanne was talking about. I forgot where she started.
it was wow, that was so good. What if when
Thank you.
somebody picks up this beautiful book and read your chapter, what do you hope they walk away with?
That even in our loneliest moments, our most fearful moments, our most shameful moments, that we are not alone. We are all being guided, and we are all being ushered into our own evolution for our highest and best good in every moment. And to know that when challenge presents itself,
And it will.
that it's there to purify us. It's there to burn something away that is meant to be released so that our greatest potential can be unveiled to us. So we allow ourselves to feel the emotions that run through us when challenge presents itself in our life, not to hide away from them, but really feel our human experience, but then ask the question that your soul is asking through the challenge, which is, what is this here to teach you?
Mm-hmm.
What is the lesson that's embedded
Yes.
in this challenge? And how do I use that to propel me, to motivate me? And it's all building faith and trust and surrender which is what I believe, and certainly in my own journey, and the journey of my clients as an intuitive that I've seen for many, many years, when we finally let go of the need to control everything,
Yes.
we also relieve ourselves of great suffering. And the faith and the trust, as Suzanne beautifully said, the faith that comes when we learn to let go and surrender to what God, I say God, the higher power, the universe wants from us. Um, that's liberation.
That is beautiful. Thank you. And Shauntay.
There's a little one in you. There's a little one in each and every one of us, still precious as ever. And for me, I want people to remember that, to connect to that little one inside of us and to love that one, to nourish that one, to give that part of ourselves maybe something that it missed, something that it's still yearning for, and love it, listen to it. It is so wise. That part of us is so wise. We came in so wise and so knowing. Don't forget that part of us. And the other part of that is to let that part of you play. Even as an adult, don't throw play to the wind because you're an adult, because life is
Yeah.
so serious. Yeah, life is serious and tough stuff happens. But this is also a beautiful playground. This is also a playground full of opportunities and possibilities. And if we play and enjoy it, it's kind of like metaphysics. What we focus on is what we get.
Yes,
And
that's
if I focus on the joy and the play of life, I find that I have more joy and play in my life. And so if you find yourself being so serious and so disconnected from your little one, I encourage you to take the time to stop and reconnect and to find moments, create moments in your life to play, to do those things that that little one loved to do.
beautiful, beautiful. I couldn't say any of that better than the three of you. And such a joy to be able to just hear your words and get that reminder that we all at times will need, but just also to
Yes.
respect the growth and the time that we have. And thank you, kudos. I want a round of applause. So to each one of you, and enjoy the moments. There'll be a lot of things that will come your way as a blessing for having the courage to share your story with the world. And there's something of magic. I always say there's a magic that happens when we put our words out to the world like that. And I think it has a ripple effect. Each one of us,
Definitely.
each little story is a special little stone that's dropped in the water, and pretty soon there's many stones, and it turns into a great big wave. So thank you to each one of you, and blessings. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you, Becky. Thank you. And blessings to all of you and to all of us.